Hi, everyone. My name is Rayanne Buskey. I am the director of the McAndrews Fund here at Dickinson. My role at the college is I work with alumni and parents and donors and basically friends of Dickinson athletics who want to make an impact with their philanthropy. I am so excited to have all of you join us tonight. This is a new series that we're starting with all of our programs across the athletic department. So if you are a Red Devil super fan and want to check out some of the other upcoming sessions, we'll be sending out some information about those in the upcoming months with some of our spring sports and our winter sports. So stay tuned for that. But the reason that we are all here tonight is to talk about Red Devil basketball. And basketball programs are some of my favorite programs to work with. I promise I am not biased, but it is so great to see all of you, and I look forward to seeing all of you at Alumni Hoops Weekend in January. So kind of how tonight's going to go is I'll kick us off like I'm doing right now, and then I will turn it over to Alan and Abby to kind of talk about their programs, what their season looks like. We might even hear some recruiting updates that I'm super excited about. And then we'll just kind of leave it as an open forum for any of you who are on the call to ask questions. Give these guys support before they go into their seasons in the next couple of weeks. But with that being said, I will turn it over to Alan and Abby to officially kind of start our night. But thank you everybody for joining us. Really glad to have you all here.
Sorry, couldn't unmute myself there for a second. Thanks, Rayanne, for setting all of this up. I guess I'll just start off by talking about our roster for this upcoming season. We have one senior with Lindsay. She's been really working hard with our program, since the time she's been here. Her leadership is showing so much on the court, and really excited for her and what this year will look like. We have 7 juniors, one returning first team all conference in that class. So excited to see what she will do, and surrounded by, again, a lot of talent in our junior class. Our sophomores, which is crazy, they were just freshmen. Sophomore class, they're working really hard. Excited for them. I think some of them are stepping up in different roles and within leadership, obviously what we're going to see from them on the floor. And then we have 2 first years that kind of just got thrown in with everything, with it being a smaller group with just them 2. They're learning, they're like sponges, just absorbing everything. And fortunately, we have a really, really good group of returners that are kind of leading the way and taking them under their wing, and they're just all in. I'm really excited for what's to come with this group, and they've been working really hard this preseason, and yeah, just really excited for games to get started.
Give me 1 second here. I apologize. When your dad at home and the door's locked and your kid's trying to get in the house, I got to tend to this for a second. Give me a minute.
We couldn't have planned that any better.
All right, good. He's not locked out. Everybody, thanks for jumping on. Rayanne, good to see you. Thank you for organizing this. A lot of familiar faces here, which we appreciate. I could probably be here for another 45 minutes because our roster right now is at 21. That was purposeful. But we got a lot of movement going on with the group, and kind of explain more as we go here. 4 returning seniors. Most impressive was probably their summer work. Anthony Gabe, who's a senior from Wisconsin, got his Series 7 certification. Drew Hauheisen got his actuarial license. Andrew Gossovitz worked in an emergency room, and Randy Shepard worked as an accountant. So those guys, all of them were 3-4 or better last semester. So not only what they bring to the court, but where they're going long-term is most important. Of the junior group, we got 4 of those guys back: Aaron Bailey, Matt Smith, Brandon Warchinski, and Justin Glover is returning for us, coming off a labrum tear surgery in his hip. He hadn't been able to play for 18 months. So Glove is back, which is a great voice and great spirit for our group, but it's a long return. So again, one of those reasons with a bigger roster, we weren't quite sure how that was going to come out for him. With the sophomore group, 4 returnees there too. Zay Edmond, who played a ton for us last year, did a great job. Matt Mahoney, BJ McNeil, and Skylar Venezia. Those guys have grown a great deal from last year. As we all know, first-year guys or young ladies have to have a lot to figure out. Sophomore year, you see great growth physically, athletically, with their understanding and maturation. So we're excited for those guys. And then in the new coming group, we have 9 new guys. And again, therein lies the bigger number. Daniel Agblora is a sophomore with us who worked as a student coach last year and jumped into some drills and really challenged himself to get into shape, to give himself an opportunity to be with us this year. And he makes us better daily. So he has been added to the roster. In the freshman group, the first year, the natural first years, we have 6 of those. Cole Cosby from down near DC, who's rooming with his cousin, Tyler Lawrence, who's from the Potomac School, played with BJ McNeil, one of our sophomores in high school. So those 2 are 2 of our true freshmen. 2 of our other true freshmen, Ben Ellis, who I'm told may have had a parent go here, play here, allegedly. I'm not quite sure. But Ben has done a great job. Great deal of energy, physicality. He's getting better every day. He is rooming with Ryan Laskauskas from Chatham, New Jersey, who does a great job for us, can shoot it, and we expect good things out of those guys. And then late in the summer, we added 2 kids, Juan and Luis Ruiz, who are twin brothers from Spain. Interesting note, they're the only 2 of our freshmen not living together, which we got a kick out of. They said, why would we come 3,000 miles to live with a guy I've been living with for 17 years, which I thought showed a great deal of maturity. Those guys are great. They went to the Lindsley School for a year. And ironically, Ethan Stewart-Smith, former assistant here, played for us at Altoona, who's at W&J, had seen those guys because Lindsley's about 40 minutes away. Reno Diorio, who's a Dickinson grad, who'd been CFO down there, was involved. And then ironically, they're from Malaga, Spain, where our campus is. So our Spanish professor, Elise, was there, and she went and home visited mom and kind of sold them on Dickinson, which was pretty cool. So we were able to bring those guys in late. And then our last 2 newcomers are actually older guys. David Petrosev, he tells us it's pronounced David, but he doesn't believe anyone could do it correctly. So he said to call him David. He's a 6'7" wing who's a really tough kid and a good player. He is here from an NAIA school in California. His brother plays for the 76ers, and the family wanted them to be together on the East Coast. He wanted more of an academic challenge, and we had recruited one of his teammates previous, and his teammate said, you should check out Dickinson. So we're really fortunate to have David. And then lastly, Nate Ogbu, who was a cum laude graduate from Dartmouth, who's 6'7", 220-pound forward from Atlanta, Tucker High School in Atlanta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, Georgia, Stone Mountain, actually. And Nate is a graduate student in our sustainability disasters relief program, and he's been great. Just wanted an opportunity. He started 12 games at Dartmouth, and eventually the last couple of years didn't work out how he wanted academically or athletically, and he liked the academic program and wanted to give it one more try. So that's the 21. And again, you can see with the 2 transfers, the twins coming late, and then, not only Glove, but we had Matt Smith coming off labrum tear shoulder injury. Weren't quite sure how all that was going to fall out, which is the reason for the high number. On to you, Abby, I believe.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about our preseason so far. Not sure if you guys are aware, we were granted 8 additional days with the NCAA, which has been amazing. 4 full practice days and 4 non-contact practice days, and we took full advantage of all 8 in our preseason. We started off really early. We had our first practice, probably more so on me of just excitement and wanting to get on the floor with them that first week of September. And just having the opportunity to be on the floor with them so early was, again, just something that I think in the long run will play a really big part in our success this year. So we started implementing our offense, start talking defense, which has always been a big part of our identity on the floor, and just kind of harping on the development side of things. Our 4 non-contact days we used as skill development and did group stuff based off of positions. Which again, I just think that, having a group that just so bought in and excited and ready to work, it was a really fun and different preseason for us. The 15th, we had our first practice. That went really well. I think obviously having 4 full practices or 8 days on the floor with the team prior to that took out a lot of the jitters, the nervousness. Like, they knew what to expect from me and our coaching staff on the floor, what to expect and how to push each other. Again, which is a lot of fun. And, our preseason, they've been getting after it. Our Fridays are morning conditioning that they do on their own. That has been really good. And, our team has talked a lot this preseason about wanting to play fast and pushing the ball. And we're starting to see some of that all come together again, based on the work that they've done in the preseason.
Yeah, similar to what Abby said, the 8 days, everyone crushes the NCAA, and oftentimes rightly so. The 8 days was a great idea. Oftentimes in the past, you would start practice on October 15th, and then you pretty much go 6 days a week for 6 months, and it's so their fall is so unrealistic. No matter how hard they work, they realize how tired they're going to be, the work is probably not going to get done after that 7 to 9 practice or on the bus, as some of you on here know. So the NCAA, by allowing that, we did what Abby did. We started on the 8th of September with a full contact practice, more or less to give the younger guys and new guys an idea of what that would feel like. It was one, hey, this is how it's going to be 6 days a week. And two, oftentimes for those 6 weeks, you have the upperclassmen telling the younger student athletes, hey, this is how it's going to be, or the coaches won't, you're not going to be able to do that, or they're going to want you to do this. They got to see that first, second week of school. So then they knew the rest of the fall, okay, I need to get ready for this. We went twice a week from then on out, once a contact day, one a non-contact day, for the next 3 weeks. That was up to our 7 practices. And then we took about 8 to 10 days off, and practiced on the 14th, the day before the legal starting date, with a non-contact kind of an install. We can install some more base offense, defense stuff. So that was our plan. Derek Spinellis, not to be confused with Adam Spinella, who is on here as our assistant, who does a great job. He does the strength training for us. He had him in a weight room at a minimum 3 days a week, up to 5 if they wanted to. Really focused on mobility, flexibility, prehab stuff. We're not going to gain a lot of bulk in 6 weeks in the fall, nor do we need to. So it's more about flexibility, hip movement, ankles, knees, that kind of stuff. So he did a great job with the guys, getting us into the 15th. And then again, to Abby's point, the 15th till now has been great. If you include the 8 preseason practices, we're up to 14 now. We're having a hard time judging it, because normally this would be like practice 4. So it looks awesome, but we're also 10 practices ahead of where we ever have been. So it's hard to tell. We're actually playing basketball right now, which is nice. Not normally doing that at this point. But for us, the energy level of having 21 in the gym, I know that's a large number again, but everybody who steps in the gym and is part of the program brings value. And we try to practice hard. So to be able to do that and roll groups, I think has been really important. So guys can just go as hard as they can at all times and just keep pushing as they push their wind and they push their understanding and all the other stuff that you're going to need to do. So that part's been really fun. And now, as we all know, I mean, we'll really get a test of kind of who we are in the next, I'd say, 6 to 10 practices, because the newness of this is going to wear off, and we don't scrimmage until the 28th. So, when it becomes, again, for those of you who have done it, when it becomes that kind of day in, day out, can't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. You get to see who really likes to compete and likes to play, which again, so far it's been awesome. And we're anticipating it'll continue, but that's our next step. I'll kick it to Abby for hers, but our scrimmages, we scrimmage the 28th at Juniata, which is typically one of the upper half in the landmark, not super physically dominant, don't really look like a team in our league, but probably the most disciplined, toughest, best pack line screening team we play. So it's a great scrimmage because it wakes you up to a lot of things. And then this year, the NCAA, again, this is our league. Our league, in their infinite wisdom, allowed a second scrimmage for the first time in our 15 years here. So we're going to host Penn State Altoona on the Friday night of homecoming. So if anybody is in town, we're actually going to scrimmage on Friday night of homecoming. And then folks, parents weekend, the whole festivity. So we're going to do a little bit of a tailgate for the parents and friends of the program that are coming through. Abby.
Yeah, we scrimmage Shenandoah at home on the 29th. A team that, has some success these past few years, played in the conference championship of the ODAC last year. And then we travel to Marymount on Friday, the 4th of November, and scrimmage another, talented team. It's going to push us, see where we're at. As Al mentioned, practices right now have been great, and the team, coaching staff, we're ready to see what that looks like against someone else. We actually will have an inter squad scrimmage. Our league official, fortunately, has reached out to us about officials attending a practice, kind of for their own practice. Hopefully an official that we'll see in the year that's familiar with us a little bit. But we'll do an inter squad on, I believe, the 24th. So next week, fairly soon. I'm going to get after it and start to see some things pieced together.
Yeah, and going, I guess, to the season, Abby, and you can follow up. We open up at WPI, about 35 minutes southwest of Boston. We play St. Joe's, Maine, who I think won 17 games last year. They're pretty good. Coach came over from Colby, a lot of Princeton stuff, super disciplined, great spacing. They'll be a challenge early. I think they're older as well. Second game, WPI, which is the host, finished last year, I think 23-4, and did not make the NCAA tournament. So they are going to play Williams, who I think went to the Sweet 16 and should be top 10 in the country. So those will be two ranked teams nationally. We play Centenary out of New Jersey at their place the next Friday. And then we get into league play. We have 4 league games before the holiday. We have McDaniel at home in the traditional Tuesday before Thanksgiving game that you also fondly remember. And then the next week we play at Muhlenberg, who's a good team, tough place to play. Gettysburg, sophomore at home on that Saturday, which they'll be top 10, 12 in the country. And then Gettysburg, who has a lot of guys back on that Wednesday away. Those are our conference games before break. We host Messiah. And then after finals, we head out to Florida, and we're headed to St. Pete Beach on the 17th of December. We are 17th to the 21st at St. Pete Beach. We are playing Bethel from Minnesota, who on film is good. Big, strong, really know how to play. And then Nazareth up from New York, who is another, coach is a John Beeline guy, Point Princeton, 2-guard stuff, very disciplined, tough to play. And I think they have quite a few graduate students, a little bit older. And they won 20 or 21 games last year. They're pretty good.
We start our season off at Elizabethtown, a team that was in the NCAA tournament last year. Our non-conference schedule is pretty tough. Something that we, have talked about these last 2 years of building our strength of schedule and competing against top teams. So I think our schedule really reflects that. And again, just going to put us at test us really early to see where we're at. But we start off with Elizabethtown, then we'll host Messiah, another team that's been in the top 25, made it to NCAAs last year as well. And then we are into league play, which is pretty crazy that it's that soon. After finals, we will be traveling to Smith College. Again, a team that really, really tough last year, was in the Final Four. So we'll compete against them and play UMass Dartmouth down there as well. A little different from where we traveled to last year, being in Puerto Rico with the warm weather, but hopefully we could do something nice and warm next year or next season. But we get back. It'll be interesting. We play on New Year's Eve, which is a little bit different. We'll travel back, do some fun stuff on the way home, probably go to the Hall of Fame with the team. And then we're back into league play. Hopkins has been at the top of our league, Gettysburg, top of our league, both teams that we're right there against and looking forward to competing against. haven't beat Haverford in a few years now. So that's a team that's marked on our calendar that, we're really coming after and want to, compete at a high level against amongst other teams in our conference.
Yeah, I left that out kind of league wise. Thank you, Abby. SWAT and Hop will be top, whatever, 10, 15 in the country. Hopkins has a new coach that came over from Keene State, where he went to a bunch of Sweet 16s, did a really nice job. Hopkins coach moved on to the University of Cincinnati, where he's running their offense. And I think he's in charge of their NIL, which we all love. Gettysburg is going to be probably preseason third. They return everybody from a team that I think finished third last year. Really talented as anyone in the league, probably. Ursinus will probably be fourth. They return all but one key guy. Muhlenberg and F&M will be the next two. Muhlenberg probably is the best guard in the league. Giovanni Rubino's pretty good, pretty crafty, and they play kind of a wide open style. F&M returns pretty much everybody, big, physical, as the guys on here know, foul you every play, the same defense. So they're back, and they'll be pretty good. Haverford, Pat Doherty's probably the best coach in the league. Doesn't have quite the same amount of material as some of the other teams, but they're really difficult to play. Washington College has a new coach, Corey Begley, who came down from Conn College up in the NESCAC. Seems to be a really good guy and should do a good job. And then McDaniel has Kevin Kirtley, who's been there second longest tenured coach in the league, who they're going to just be physical and tough, defend you, and make you play in the 50s. So no easy ones on our side. That's why hopefully these guys are here. That's the fun part.
Perfect. Thanks, coaches. Abby, I want to make sure I didn't cut you off. You were okay. Perfect. So thank you so much for kind of running us through your seasons, through your rosters. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody on this call appreciates getting to know a little bit more about your programs and where we're at for this year. So what I want to do now is just kind of leave it as an open forum for anybody to kind of ask questions. If you don't want to unmute, throw them in the chat. I'll just ask them that way and we can do that. But if anybody wants to ask questions, wish these guys good luck, tell me that you'll be at every single home game this year, we can go ahead and do that.
Hey, Rayanne, it's Brian. I got a question for each coach.
Go ahead.
So I got lots of questions, but I'm going to limit it to one each. So first for Abby, I'm just curious what your overall free throw percentage was during your fundraiser. My player hit 86%, which I was happy to pay up for. So that's awesome. So what was your free throw percentage overall, and how much money did you raise? Those are your questions. And Al, I'm just curious, do you have 21 uniforms, and will everyone dress every game, and do you need us to fund new uniforms?
I'll start off. I actually don't have the exact percentage, but we did shoot the ball really, really well from the free throw line for our fundraiser. We had two players in the 90s. Our freshman, Claire Cronley, went 96 of 100, and Claire Marion went 94 of 100. I think the lowest we had was about 75 shots. And free throws are something we shoot every day, we harp on. So hopefully that percentage reflects during the season. But no, we really appreciate your support and everyone who supported in that fundraiser. It helps in so many ways of, being able to travel, obviously our gear, and just so much more. So we really appreciate you all, and don't have the final numbers just yet, but I do think we were pretty successful again this year, and hoping to continue that on with your all support. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Bram, I appreciate, again, everybody's generosity on here, specifically you guys who have kind of founded and headed the Friends of the Red Devils. So we always appreciate what you guys bring to the program. We're fortunate. We're going to be okay with the uniforms. We had the three guys coming off surgery. Matt Smith had a labrum in his shoulder. Justin Glover had one in his hip. And then Juan Ruiz, one of the Spanish twins, had coming off a stress fracture in his back. So we were able to figure out through all of that how to work through the uniform piece. ironically, we did order a couple extras to make sure we covered everyone. And when we went down to look at the white ones and had the new white ones, we realized that the old white ones were not exactly white anymore. So we had to order a complete new set of home uniforms, which will be shipped allegedly the first week of November. So yeah, we thought we were in a great place by ordering a couple extra. And then when you put white up against off-white, we really didn't feel like that was a great thing to run out there the first weekend in Boston. So we appreciate it, though.
That's great. Let me just say before going mute, I really appreciate you guys inviting us in and spending this hour with us and welcoming us into your program. So thank you very much.
I'll jump in. That was Bram Ziegler, class of '93. Since I'm Craig Copeland, class of '92. I have a couple questions for you, Al. First of all, where are you on the longevity rankings in the Centennial Conference? Are you third, first? You first? Oh, you're third. Okay. And also, who's in charge of our NIL program? Because I think Chris Ellis would like to be in charge of that. He's going to set up an LLC, get some money together, throw some cash your way. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, you say that in jest, but the old other duties as assigned, we're in charge of compliance here. So that was a project this summer. And interestingly enough, what a lot of people don't understand is one, it impacts the student athletes' taxes and financial aid. So there are tax implications, and if you are getting aid and then you make that money, it can offset some aid. So unless you have a staff that can kind of manage that, it becomes a challenge. And then the other part of that is, at a college like ours, I'm sure none of you have ever been contacted by someone like Rayanne from Advancement. And, I'm sure Rayanne and her crew and the college in general would be thrilled if we just took some of the advancement money that all of you participate and donate and just shifted that right to NIL. There would be no internal probably conversation about that at all, since the money is just, infinite. So we did look at it. I know you were in jest. We actually tried. We had one guy last year who had a Pliables NIL, which got him one pliable a month and 10% discount. So that's where we're at with the NILs.
Anybody else have any questions? I'll ask one of all of the alumni. Put in the chat, or if I can see you on camera, who's coming back for Alumni Hoops Weekend in January? Who's planning on coming back for Alumni Hoops Weekend in January? Craig, Chris, Adam. For those of you who don't have your cameras on, I can't see, so just let me know in the chat if you're coming back. Hold on. Okay. Somebody's in Denver. Ben's in Denver, so that's a little far. So I'm super excited about that. Alan, Abby, do you guys kind of want to talk about, the plan for Alumni Hoops Weekend?
Yeah, Ab, I'll let you follow up. That's Matt Rocco, who's coming as well, who's clapping down there. And he's taking it quite a trip.
I'm sorry, Coach. I don't have my videos. No, I just got a new computer. I can't figure my video out, but anyway, and I'm down here in Texas, and I had the wrong time, so I thought it was 7 o'clock my time, and so I really screwed up. But I really wanted to be part of the NIL discussion, because we're doing a lot of things down here with Stephen F. Austin University. I've started a whole collective, and we're raising a lot of money for these kids. And I talked to Cope about how we could do something up there. Obviously it's a different animal at the D3 level than D1, but still, I think there's an opportunity to do some things. And so, we could talk about that later. I missed that whole thing, but anyway, I apologize. I'm just a mess, but
no, Matt, we appreciate you jumping on. Always appreciate your support. I know you had emailed me about that too. The one NIL thing that is plausible. There's a lot of institutions who are tying it towards charitable work.
Right. And that's what we're doing down here. We got all tied into charitable work. And it's been awesome. It's been really good. Well received.
Yep. It's a great opportunity. So that's definitely something we can explore that would be beneficial everywhere. I know some I think it was Craig asked about the alumni weekend. It's the January 27th weekend. the plans are, and Rayanne can jump in here because they're kind of fluid. I know we are doing, I think, Abby, you can speak to senior night if you want to talk about that piece.
Yeah, we're gonna have, since we have only one senior, we're gonna pair it with that alumni weekend for Lindsay, you know, for her former teammates being back here and just making that night special for her since she's the only one. So we're gonna pair those two things together.
Yeah, and for us, we're going to do senior night on February 17th because there's 5 of them, and that paired with the alumni return. Alumni return has been so impactful, and the numbers so deep that tends to be a lot to do on the same weekend. So we are going to be able to separate the two. And Ray, and you can speak to maybe some of the cool things that
Sure, sure. So I'm not sure if any of you have heard because and that's a total joke because we talk about it all the time. So the college has completely renovated and remodeled the old President's House to create the John M. Paz Class of 78 Alumni and Family Center. So the hope, the wish, and the prayer, because the construction is still pending, is that we'll be able to do some sort of gathering on Friday night of Alumni Hoops Weekend and get to show our friends of Red Devil basketball the new house. And so we'll do like a happy hour event in the house on Friday night. So you all will get to see it. And we hope that it's not the only time you'll ever stop by the house. If you're ever on campus, please feel free to swing by. That place has an open door policy. So we're really excited to share that space with you all for the weekend. And then I think President Jones will probably make an appearance as well. And then we'll get to your alumni game Saturday morning, which is always a joy to watch. And then we'll have the 2 games that afternoon. And like Abby said, we'll do senior day for the women's team that day as well. So really hope that all of you, those of you who are able and maybe in this time zone, are able to make it back for Alumni Hoops Weekend in January. So.
And we are going to try, while Abby is obviously honoring Lindsay, we're going to honor the 2013 and 2014 teams, which unbelievably, it's over 10 years now. The 13 team was the first team in this run that won the Centennial Conference, second team overall to the 97 group, 6 seniors that year. So we're going to include them. And then the 14 team was the team that followed it up and went to the Elite 8. So we're going to kind of grab all those guys together and hopefully be able to get them back and honor them because, again, unbelievably has been 10 years.
Yeah, it's sure to be a great weekend. I'm really excited about it. We look forward to it in our office every year. Does anybody have any other questions that they want to ask?
Yeah, I've got one as well. Coaches, thank you for all your time here tonight and educating us on the direction of the programs. I know we had just left off, talking about some of the seniors in both of your programs and senior days. In terms of next steps for them with employment or jobs or anything that the alumni network on this call or beyond might be able to help with, is there anything that we on this call might be able to do to support them?
Lindsay, I think, is still up in the air on what she is looking to do. There is a chance and that she might look to play another year. Our biggest job is to be recruiters, so I'm still recruiting Lindsay to stay on our roster for an extra year. But if not, she's exploring her options, or will be exploring her options to continue to play. We've talked a little bit about possibly going international. She put in a application for a Fulbright scholarship. So I think it's up in the air for her right now, and it's still just, piecing things together and trying to figure it all out. But, really appreciate you even mentioning that. And if there is anything that she brings up or, within our conversations these next few weeks, and as the course of the season goes on, I'll definitely steer her in y'all's direction to help in that way. So definitely appreciate you mentioning that.
Yeah, and Adam, you brought the seniors in, so on our end, you're responsible to get them placed because that's what you promised all the families. And anyone on here that didn't know, Adam is now helping lead the draft effort for the Sixers. He got a new position working for the 76ers, and more importantly, is now a dad. So congrats to Adam. Sleeping at all?
No chance. No.
Get a lot of scouting done. Get a lot of scouting done. Well, for us, we're fortunate with this group. I mean, Nate Ogbu, our grad transfer, would like to try and play. And early indications from our first 14 practices, I think he can, as he keeps working at it. Anthony Gabe, who has the Series 7 taken care of, he would like to try and play and maybe get his master's taken care of overseas. And if not, he's going to fall into the finance world. Andrew Gotsevich is going to do a lab research for either a year or two before going to med school. He's talking through Mike Roberts here. For those of you that are connected to the college, who's unbelievable, is helping to get him placed possibly in Penn or Princeton or maybe Yale in their labs. And then, Andrew's a 3.78. So walk into whatever med school he wants probably. Drew Hauheisen's the same way. Drew's had 1 A- in his time here. That's it. He's had, I think it's 1 A- in his life. So he has a 3.98. He's in the process of getting admitted to some kind of new quantitative economic program at the University of Maryland, which he's from Ocean City. So that won't be far for him. And then Randy Shepard similarly is looking into grad school for finance accounting. I think he's going to go the accounting route. So yeah, we appreciate that, Adam. I think depending what happens with Nate and Anthony, we may be spoken for, but we're going to have those 5 sophomore or 5 rising juniors to seniors. 2 of those guys are kicking around law school, but internship time this summer for them will be really important. So I know we'll be reaching out. Some of our folks on the screen, even we're going to do small group Zooms, and we had asked our current group what would interest them. So there's one in finance, there's one in law. We're going to do one in psychology and one in sports business over the course of the next 2 weeks. And our friends of the Red Devils have been gracious enough to jump on, and 2 to 5 folks at a time are going to speak to our student athletes about those fields of careers. So awesome. We'll keep everybody updated, but thank you, Adam. That's great.
Awesome. Anybody else have any questions they want to ask? Okay, I think I'm going to ask one. I've asked this in some coaches. I've asked this in some of the sessions that our kids that we've had student athletes on. Who are you most excited to play this year? I've normally asked it in the context of the student athletes, like who has it coming this year. But I'll ask you, who are you most excited to face off against this year?
Honestly, we're excited to play everyone. Because we haven't our program hasn't beat Haverford in some time. I think that's one that, we have, circled on our calendar, as I mentioned earlier. But, every day we have the opportunity to compete, and, our league can go any way, any given night. I think we're just fortunate that we're, in a good league, and the competition every night is there. So just really excited about the season, and just to play someone else and that level of competition. But I would say that, yeah, Haverford is one that we have marked on our calendar. Gettysburg's always a great game. Hopkins is as well. And I can go down the list of every team in our league, but I would say those are the main ones.
Yeah, canned answer Juniata, because it's the first team we play. I mean, that's this group as and Adam Spinella was part of it with these seniors. Good getting us back to the point where we just compete daily, every drill, every practice. And I know it's coach speak, but it's true. If you become as good as you want to become, it doesn't matter who you're playing. If we were to jump on a Zoom right now and you're talking in our side to Johns Hopkins and Swarthmore, they don't care, because they're the best teams in the league. And so if we want to get back to that point, then everybody else is kind of nameless, faceless. It's the first game we have. We got a chance to go see how good we are. So I think the guys are really going to look forward to seeing somebody else. And after Juniata, it'll be Altoona, St. Joe's, Maine. So they're the first ones, to your point. And the scrimmage last year wasn't great. So equally, I don't want to say revenge, but there's an easy way to get excited to see them.
Absolutely. So does anybody have anything else to add or any questions you want to ask? Okay, perfect. So before we jump off, this is where I get on, I sit up a little taller and I get to tell you about the McAndrews Fund and everything that it does to support our student athletes. I don't think I have to explain what McAndrews does. to anybody on this call. I think you all have worked very well with the McAndrews Fund, and you're such a tight-knit group that philanthropy comes naturally to you guys, and you all support both our men's and women's teams with your time, talent, and treasure. But if you are interested in having a conversation about how you can philanthropically support either of these teams, my door is always open. Feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call. We can connect on campus. We just added a really great new coffee shop that I love to visit way too many times a week. But again, I want to thank you all so much for being here tonight. Coaches, any parting words before we sign off for the evening?
Oh, just thank you for taking the time today, this evening, and look forward to seeing you guys at games. And we really, really appreciate your support.
Yeah, I would say the same. Just thank everybody for jumping on, taking time out of your schedules, all that you have done and continue to do for the program. I think the one thing we're going to see with, the admission cycles at schools like ours moving forward, and the competitiveness of attracting students and specifically student athletes, which bleeds into the success of the programs, is the difference is going to be the people. So, what you have done and what you can do to differentiate us when people make that swing between Gettysburg, F&M, and our place, we always tell them that we're just a little different. And again, I think that shows through people and all that you represent. So we can't thank you enough.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining us this evening. Please stay connected to the program, follow their schedule online, follow all of our teams on social media at Dickinson Athletics and at Dickinson Men's and Women's Basketball. You can find them on social, but please stay connected to the program as much as you can. And for those of you who are coming back for Alumni Hoops Weekend in January, I look forward to seeing you on campus soon or at the stands in the game. But again, thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and I will see you all soon.